I've only thought about fucking brothers fucking their cousins when, like, if you think of Arkansas. I guess, yeah. Here's what I know about Arkansas before coming here, is that Arkansas is in the South. It's not the Midwest. And I can't believe that people even consider that it's Midwest. Like, where the fuck are you? Are you thinking Kansas? You thinking Kansas? You thinking Kansas? I'm thinking Arkansas. It's that place that kind of copies other people's names. And that becomes obvious when you're here because there's a lot of places, a lot of cities, and a lot of towns that like combine Arkansas with other places. I'll give you an example. There's a place called Philadelphia. There's also a place called Arkansas. They've got a town called Arkadelphia. Like, the fuck is that? Let's take it a step further. There's a place called Oklahoma. There's a place called Arkansas. Arklahoma. Like, there's a place called Texas. There's a place called Arkansas. There's a place called Texarkana. Like, what the fuck? And maybe that's not a good example because Texarkana, Texarsaws, maybe. You get the idea. There's a whole fucking bunch of places. For example, there's a place called Arkansas City. There's a place called West Memphis. They're not very creative here as far as their town names. But it is what it fucking is. So anyway, that's what I noticed a few weeks being here. Also what I noticed is there's a huge fucking mountain bike community and biking community in general. They have amazing fucking trails here. They have amazing fucking mountain bike trails in this state. You know, it's called Arkansas is called the natural state. That's the fucking motto of this place, or whatever the fucking tagline or whatever the fuck they call it here. What you would call it, the fucking state motto. It's called the natural state. It's because they don't fuck with nature too much. The only time they really fuck with it is to make dope ass shit like fucking kayak parks in a fucking river where you can fucking go down these fucking ledges, and they've got a nice path they built so you can walk your fucking happy ass in your kayak back to the top so you can do more dope shit. Their fucking mountain bike trails are fucking phenomenal. I didn't even know mountain biking was huge here. And in fact, I'm not like huge into mountain biking, but just being here, I'll tell you what, I'm buying a mountain bike because I'm like, this is dope as fuck. Like, they literally take boulders and make fucking ramps on these trails with waterfalls cascading. You drive under waterfalls in this fucking pristine hillside. You know, one of the things they call them mountains here, they call them mountain whatever, but they're not real mountains. I mean, technically based on the elevation, they're mountains. But if you go to like Washington, Narnia, those are fucking mountains. Colorado, mountains. But here, they do what they can, you know? Not knocking them. They do what they can. What else I like about it is there's so much fucking to do outdoors, including get ticks all over your fucking body. But you just brush that shit off, you know? If you have a dog here, you gotta fucking spray him with anti-tick stuff. Like, that's something we don't deal with that much in Washington is ticks. And here, they've got fucking ticks. You look at the grass, you got ticks. You know? It's a good excuse to fucking walk outside with your loved ones and go, hey, let me check you for ticks. And then you fucking pretend like they got ticks and stick your finger in their booty hole. That's how it goes. You gotta take all your clothes off, bend over, check out the fucking chocolate starfish, and look for ticks. But then maybe you put your tongue in there, you know, get a little bit of that action, and then you know you're having a good time with your lady on a Sunday. What I also noticed about this place, speaking of Sunday, is they don't sell alcohol anywhere on a fucking Sunday. I'm sure there's some exception if you go to the hotel or something like that because it's kind of an international deal. You go to the Hojo or the fucking Holiday Inn. They might have it because of their business travelers that come here. But they don't sell alcohol here. They also stopped selling it at fucking 10 p.m. or something weird. I've had to drive, including tonight, and go across county lines because guess what? I'm in a fucking dry county. That's something I didn't even know existed. Like, until I got here, I'm like, wait a second. I can't just go to the fucking gas station to get beer. I've got to drive 20 minutes to go get beer and smuggle it in like I'm some fucking criminal. So that's interesting. I discovered they have fucking tornadoes here. The fucking, like, last week we had a fucking tornado that was like, hey, my phone blew up. The fucking radio was like, everybody get inside and fucking go away from the windows because you might be killed by a fucking lawn chair. We didn't have internet for 2 days. The fucking power was out. Found out we're in Tornado Alley. Great move on my part. I've never even seen a fucking tornado. I watched The Wizard of Oz, and that was the closest I ever got to it. The fucking first month I'm here, I got a fucking tornado that's blowing down power lines and shit 3 miles north of here. Where we currently are, where you're watching this, 3 miles north. Fucking catastrophic. Trees apparently eat trampolines from your neighbors. Put it up in a fucking tree. It's like, if we're in Tornado Alley, why do you have a trampoline? Because it's fun, but also imagine jumping on a trampoline while Dorothy's trying to bring you to Oz. That could be wild. But we had 90-mile-per-hour winds. I had fucking trash smashing upon my fucking garage door. I didn't know what was happening because I've never been in one. I was like, what's happening? That's what I discovered about this place. Also, let me bring it back to Washington. You've heard me talk about HOAs and how much I hate them and how those busy bodies fucking put their business inside of you. Fucking, oh, your gutters have a little bit of moss on them. Fucking $150 fine just because we said so. And if you don't pay it, we'll foreclose on your house. Fuck. They mind their business here, which is great. You don't really hear people talk about politics. There's no mask mandate in this fucking state. One of the first states, they talk about Texas, but they fucking don't have it here. Guess what? Cases are going down. Everyone seems to not give a fuck about that fucking thing that's going on. I met a neighbor today, and he's like, you guys were wearing masks the whole time? He's like, I didn't put a mask on the entire fucking pandemic. I was like, Jesus Christ. There's places like this that do exist. It's not because I don't believe that people are getting sick. It's because I don't believe that people are getting fucking sick. No, I'm just kidding. I have said I probably had COVID at one point. And even very recently, because I've had to wear masks to get fucking food in Washington. But here there's no mask mandate, so I choose not to wear one because I probably have already had it, much like many of you have already had it. And the whole illogical thing about you fucking may have had it. Let's say you did have it, but they still want you to wear a mask afterwards. This defeats all fucking logic as far as biology that we learned from fucking day one in school. So yeah, no mask mandate here. That's dope. I'm not really one of those people that go out of my way to fucking introduce myself to people, but one of the last episodes where I talk about the fucking Taco Bell dude that is the only person I've been annoyed with, everyone is generally very nice here, unless you go to a place called Fayetteville, fucking Arkansas, and that's like this blue dot in a fucking Red Sea. And those are some judgy motherfuckers up there. And that's a whole nother story I don't even want to get into, but I probably will if I talk more on this episode. So what I'll say, because I could give you many more examples of why I think this place is awesome. I just think that just the general nice people in the area that don't really give a fuck to know or put themselves into your personal space, to be like, oh, your trash can's a little bit out of the fucking outside of the fucking thing. Let's give you a $150 fine. Like, I don't want to know about you, but I'm going to look through your windows to see what's going on. And just so they could judge you. That doesn't really happen here. Like, people are generally nice and welcoming, and I'm not, like, me as a person, I'm not really into fucking meeting people, but I'm not, like, it's been welcoming here, talking to people and telling them about myself when they ask, and, they, like, it's a super welcoming place. And I've had, back and forth on this about why that is in the South and all that stuff that you could. But from my perspective right now, it's a great place. You never really hear about Arkansas, and I think it's very much like the Boise effect. So if you know about Boise and you've been there or spent any significant amount of time, it's one of those places where you're like, I've only seen it and heard about it because it's a fucking place. It's like one of the big cities in Idaho. But you go there and you're like, this place is dope as fuck. And you enjoy spending your time there. You're like, why don't more people live here? And then you find out that Californians found out about it, and now they're destroying the place. They're bringing their fucking ideology up there. But Arkansas is one of those places that sits in the middle of a bunch of really awesome states, like Tennessee, Oklahoma, maybe, like Illinois, all the surrounding states. You got fucking Louisiana down there, and it's one of those states that kind of gets lost in all of the other states, right? There's 50 of them, and now there's gonna be like 51 maybe, but like Arkansas is one of those places that you've heard of, but you've never really seen. And so this one of my, I gotta be real. This nice lady I've been talking to, who's from here in Arkansas, she described the place like a, and maybe I'm butchering this, so please don't at me, bro. She described it as like the hole in the wall diner that like you look at from the outward perspective and the outside looks real shitty. And Arkansas doesn't look shitty. Don't get me wrong. It's a fucking beautiful state. And I mean that wholeheartedly. You get in here and you're like, holy fuck, this place is awesome. But it's like metaphorically, it's like that hole in the wall diner that you drive by and you're like, I've heard of that place, like, but I'm not going to go in there. And you see it every day on your fucking commute, and you've heard of it, and you're just like, I'm not going to go in there. And it's like they don't really, from our perspective, no one's promoting it. They're just like, yeah, I ate there one time. It was all right, And the name, you've seen it because it's in the neighborhood, but you just never stopped. And so you're like, you just assume, you're like, there's nothing good there. It's just a generic looking fucking place. It's in the, it's over there, south side of town, and you're just whatever. But then one day you're like, I've seen this enough, and you're just like, I'll go there. Let's go there. And you're like, I'll get the omelet, and then lo and behold, it's the most fucking amazing omelet ever. And you're like, God damn. And you tell other people, you're like, I went to this fucking place. I went to the Arkansas Diner, and it was the most amazing fucking omelet ever. No, I'm telling you. And you're like, buddy's like, I've seen that place. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's like great. And you're like telling everybody, you're like, this place it has the best fucking food. Like, and then your buddy's like, yeah, but no one ever talks about it. Like, you're the first one. I don't believe you. And you go back day in and you're like, dude, I just went there. They got the fucking best tamales. You're like, there's no way they got fucking good tamales. They make omelets. And you're like, there's no fucking way. And so she equated it to essentially like the hole in the wall diner that you've heard of, but you've never really gone in. But the food's actually amazing. And I felt like that was the most amazing fucking analogy of this place, because until you go into that diner and fucking eat the food for yourself, you won't know how awesome it is, because it's so generic when you actually think about it. So thank you for that analogy, Miss Lady. And I believe that whole-heartedly, that this place is awesome once you give it a chance, and I love it here. For those of you that message me and be like, I only thought people like brothers fuck their sisters there. You're thinking of West Virginia, you fucking idiots.